Someone was telling me that I needed to pass to the world a message of living in peace. And I thought to myself, what a better place to be. I am only 2 blocks from the White House, visit the President of the United States, and ask him to talk on my behalf, to pass my message.
This is Susanna Bluewall. She's the founder and executive director of Bipolar Australia. She's describing a psychotic episode that she experienced while she was in Washington, D.C. in the US. This was during the 80s, when many doctors didn't recognize bipolar disorder. She was wrongly diagnosed as schizophrenic, and she didn't receive a correct diagnosis until 1997, when she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 1.
I woke up and I thought I had the flu, but that was not the flu. I went and I sat at the end of the steps at home and I curled like in a fetal position, and I didn't move from there anymore, and I was just in a catatonic state where I was not talking, I was not moving or drinking or eating, nor getting dressed, nothing. From the doctor, I was taken to a clinic, psychiatric clinic, where I stayed for 9 months to get well. And they did everything at the beginning, everything possible. And it was the worst time in my life.
During her time in the hospital, the doctors began electroconvulsive therapy, which reduced her depressive symptoms dramatically. She received this therapy for 6 months, until she began to purchase items impulsively, $500 worth of items in one day. She was displaying symptoms of manic depression, which is also known as bipolar disorder. Now, it only takes one manic episode for doctors to diagnose someone with bipolar. But despite Susanna's manic episode, the doctors still couldn't pinpoint her condition. This went on for months. The journey of taking, stopping, and retaking medications grew weary, until finally, one doctor hit the bullseye.
As soon as he realized that what I had was manic depression or bipolar, he came to me and he said, "Susanna, you're a lucky person." And I looked at him like, after all my depression and my pain and all that, what are you talking about? He said, "Well, because you're on a state now that I can diagnose your condition 100%, being sure that what you have is bipolar disorder type 1. And although I cannot promise to cure it, it can be very well managed."
But why do we still fail to understand what bipolar disorder is? We still use the term to describe Sydney's weather, someone's mood swings, or even the state of our cars. Next up is university student Sarah Collins, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when she was 19 years old, and she shares why millennials especially use the term out of context.
Just a simple answer is stigma from, people just saying terrible things about bipolar or just media representations of people being crazy and unstable. I associated that with being bad. I think just because of normalized language, from no fault of our own, I think people have just normalized it rather than take it from its medical term and just using it as an adjective.
As we've gathered so far, bipolar disorder is a complex mental health issue, and it's important to understand the symptoms and the nature of the disorder. If you or someone you know needs more information or help, please check out the links below after the story on our website. From XYZ, I'm Noelle Reyes.